Hey guys, you got Crave here, and ideally this should have followed immediately after the Chronicle 1 upload that I did, but if you've been following some of my videos, my schedule doesn't really allow me to upload content just like before. Anyway, here are the best facts from Chronicle 2 of the World of Warcraft lore book. These are the things in the lore that I personally find most interesting. It also basically helped me to get out of my short hiatus from World of Warcraft and decided to try out the classes even with the very minimal game time I have. So before starting, I do encourage you to check out the book for yourself. It doesn't matter if you get the physical copy or the ebook, it's really a fun read. You can probably finish it in one sitting or do it, well, chapter by chapter on your tablet during downtimes. So let's get to it. Death Knights and Paladins are upgrades. If you play the old real-time strategy games, you're aware that the paladins we see in the MMO are in fact upgrades to the priests that suffered during the original war. If you're new to World of Warcraft lore and play the online game, I know it's not pleasant sounding to your ears, especially if you're playing a priest class or a warlock class. But this is the case in the history of WoW. Death Knights and Paladins are upgrades to the Necrolite warriors and the priest counterparts from old. Minus gameplay balance concerns and, well, those things, most of the deficiencies of the mentioned classes were quote-unquote resolved in war scenarios. These Death Knights and Paladins were more capable and battle-ready and less likely to die from a sword's edge. Ogrim Doomhammer had good intentions. Chronicle explains or shows very clearly that the Orc leader of the Second War had good intentions even though his actions were mechanically evil. This was not very clear in the RTS, but I could be misremembering, but basically Ogrim only wanted to secure a new home for the Orcish clans that were doomed in the world of Draenor. There is a nature of ruthlessness and cunning about his leadership style. One example of this one is when Gul'dan was invited to help Ogrim and his campaign, the war chief knew, well, basically that Gul'dan could not be trusted, but he had to accept his service, especially when he saw the immense power of the Death Knights that Gul'dan had created. The Orc leader knew his weaknesses in battle, so he had to take in these grim warriors. Ogrim promised to do away with Gul'dan once he had fulfilled his goal of securing a new home for the Orcs. Draenor's destruction. Draenor, the original one and not the one we saw in the Warlords expansion, was a great planet in the vast cosmos. While it didn't have a world soul sleeping within, it had a rich history with many civilizations of their own with stories to tell. Now, its decline was a slow and agonizing one. From the wars fought by the primal beings that stayed there, to the rise and fall of the Apexis civilization, to the infestation of the Legion, Draenor's doom was pretty much sealed. The First and Second War was an attempt by the Orcish clans and hordes to escape Draenor and its demise. The final attempt of the Orcs at an escape was basically a catastrophe. With the Scepter of Sargeras, Ner'zhul's escape tore the world apart. It wasn't a simple removal of life, but a disastrous splitting apart, basically apart of a once glorious world. The Fifth Element sustained a primal Draenor. This isn't the old Bruce Willis Mila movie, but an actual element that helped temper the natural elements of fire, earth, water, and air. The natural tendency of the first four elements is to rage and act based on their nature, so what the fifth element did was to basically calm the other elements. The ancient days of Draenor also saw the dominance of plant life thanks to that fifth element, which is the spirit of life. The flora and fauna of the world had grown so much in power that they emulated a hive-like or hive mind-like behavior and even overpowered the elements. It was only through the intervention of Agrimar, a titan, which prevented the total dominance of the greens on the primal Draenor. Ogres are attuned to magic. In spite of how they are portrayed, minus Cho'Gall and the powerful ogres we encountered in the WoD expansion, the ogres are naturally inclined to use magic or the non-physical arts. Ogre trace their heritage to an ancient Grond, which was empowered by the Titan Agrimar. While they're shadows of their former selves or the former might of the ancients, their affinity to magic is still strong. This is why the Arakoa sorcerers in Draenor's history found it surprising that the ogres had learned arcane magic with such, well, basically relative ease. The arcane magic also had genetically quote-unquote awakened their species, which gave rise to some two-headed ogres. This was seen as an increase in intelligence and aptitude for magic. Beings of light are also beings of darkness. As you most likely know from the game, the Draenei for quite a while have been a people without a home. Chased off from their homeworld by the Burning Legion, the refugees escape from Argus aboard the Genedar, which is a massive fortress-type starship. What fueled or assisted the flight of this massive starship were the Naru. However, as a Naru's energy or life force is consumed, it turns to the opposite side, which is the void. Now, Chronicle states that there is a direct link between a being of light to darkness. It makes sense really. The absence of light brings about darkness, and this is why the fortress ship, Genedar, eventually fell. One of the Naru powering it had, basically weakened and gave way to the void. It fought with the other Naru assisting the ship. This led to the Draenei ending up in the world of Jenner. The Halls of Karazhan. Karazhan has been home to the Guardians and has a wealth of knowledge stored within. It has seen exchanges between some important lore characters and housed many nobles' parties. Now, the last ever nobles gathering in the estate now fills its dark halls with its eternal guests. In its history, when Egwene had learned of Medivh's corruption and learned of the Hand of Sargeras being involved, she set out to stop his son, who was at the time staying at the tower. Egwene proved very strong, and when it seemed like a lost cause for the Dark Titan, he forced Medivh to drain the life of all the guests in the estate. This resulted in a win for the Titan's avatar, but at such a great cost. The tower's attendant survived the final attack from the Sargeras-possessed Medivh, but it left him deranged and crazy basically after witnessing all the deaths. The spirits of those who attempted to escape were forever left to wander the halls of Karazhan. And there you have it, the facts or things that I personally found most interesting from World of Warcraft Chronicle 2. And I'm really liking the effort from Blizzard and the writers here, giving a backstory to the games I play a whole lot or play most of the time. So anyway, I really hope that they do put out a Chronicles 3, give more details to the stuff that has been happening in the background, basically because games are not the best way to tell a story unless it's a pure RPG that you're looking at. But anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Have you read Chronicle 2? If you have any other interesting things that you found out from the book, then let me know in the comment section below. As always, you got Crave here, and thanks for watching.